So, many years ago, there was this guy, I think it was Chuck Noll, who said something I thought was pretty smart. He said, "More knowledge leads to more enjoyment. You have to be aware of something before you can enjoy it," and I think it's true. I mean, how would you know that Klonoa Door to Phantomile is an awesome 90s platformer if you've never played a PS1 game before? How would you know that The Godfather was a culture-defining film for years if you only ever watched YouTube Shorts? And how would you know that ESPN NFL 2K5 is one of the most fun, in-depth simulation games of its generation if you've hated watching pro sports all your life? I think nerds need to start playing sports games, not just for themselves, but for the people around them as well. For those who need to hear this, I'm not saying you need to throw away all of your niche, nerdy interests. All I'm saying is, and I'm sorry if this offends you, but keeping your interests so zeroed in on what's happening in nerd culture, whether it's with gaming, anime, or fucking Warhammer, is inherently making you a harder person to talk to. I say all that because, well, I used to be that kid in middle school. All I knew were video games and niche YouTube content, so when I'd run into people who weren't as online as I was, I really struggled to relate to people. It wasn't until high school, when I started opening my mind to things outside of gaming, that I was actually able to make connections with people from different walks of life without feeling like a total dork. So I want you to be curious. I want you to be a more well-rounded person, because at the end of the day, there's so much joy to be found outside of video games that I don't want you to miss out on. I want you to be able to shoot the shit with guys at work or school. I want you to be able to connect with that family member, whether it's your dad or uncle or grandpa. And I want you to have another little thing to enjoy in this crazy life we're living. God knows we need it. And unfortunately, that means you're gonna have to be a little more normal.
I don't know why I can't just go to work and be happy, like I'm supposed to, like everybody else.
Okay, so why be normal? The short answer to this is that you need to have the tools to interact with average people. Yes, I know that hurts to say. I know you'd rather clack away at your little RGB keyboard while grinding Genshin Impact, but it's true. Your niche knowledge of random message board fights from 2002 doesn't translate to the real world. Most people have no idea what Newgrounds even is, and you want to talk to them about the Sonic Paradox shorts? Are you nuts? Being able to talk sports gives you access to pretty much any guy you come across. Oftentimes, these benign conversations about sports evolve into topics that are actually interesting, where you get to learn about the other person's inner life, and in turn, they get to know about yours. This is how relationships naturally progress, and these types of conversations are the ones that ground you in the real world. To scoff at people who like sports while also elevating your nerdy interests as a higher form of entertainment doesn't make you right, it makes you an unlikable prick. It makes you the D&D guy from King of the Hill or the toy collector from Toy Story 2. Those guys are people who've gone full nerd, view their hobbies as being above what the majority of people find interesting, and in turn isolate themselves into an echo chamber of people just like them online, and it's antisocial. So the reason I'm recommending sports games to you isn't just to make getting into sports easier, but to get you to realize that a lot of these games are fun in their own right. The more time you put into these titles, the more you learn how each sport works, you start recognizing players and teams, and you might even get attached to some of them, which is kind of what we're going for here. Now, I'll say off the bat that there will be two aspects to sports games that will appeal to different players. The first is the core gameplay, and the second is the franchise or career modes. These two styles will appeal to different players, obviously, but if you like RPGs, simulation, and strategy games, you'll love sports games as franchise modes. You get to take a roster of players who will get better or worse the longer you play, as you try to win the championship at the end of the season. Tons of micro decisions to make, and you get a concrete sense of progression as the team is slowly shaped into your liking over several seasons. To me, this is the mode that keeps bringing me back to sports games time and time again. Each playthrough is personalized to that save, and you never get the same outcomes twice.
Mark, what do you think about this Dodge truck?
It's a good truck, Papa.
As for the core gameplay, each sport will appeal to different types of players. It really depends on what you value. Say you like platformers and really value satisfying player movement. You might want to think about hockey or older football games. Maybe you like shooters and get a kick out of hitting precise targets. You might want to think about baseball or a basketball game. Play around with things, experiment, and see what you like. As for which specific games you should play, we'll order this by sport and keep the list pretty short for each one. I'll give a blanket suggestion right now that you can totally pick up any recent release for any of these sports, but as I'm sure you're aware, most modern sports games are ass. They're definitely useful tools for learning the rules and knowing the current state of a sport, but if you want to have a good time doing this, I'd invite you to take a look at the older games I'm about to suggest. Alright? Cool, let's get started. Football is, thankfully, pretty simple. The best football game, and arguably the best sports game of all time, is ESPN NFL 2K5. Alternatively, you can pick any Madden on the PS2 between Madden 04 and 08. I personally recommend 08 as it has the most bells and whistles, but different players have varying personal favorites. And yes, you want the PS2 versions for these. The Xbox 360 releases are half-baked, unfinished products. Avoid these like the plague. As for college football, you got 3 choices. NCAA 06 for a retro experience, NCAA 14 for a more modern feel with a modding scene on PC, and the new College Football 25 is a decent choice. Little note here, but the old NCAA games on PS2 had an awesome feature where you could export each season's graduating class as a draft class and import that into your NFL game. So say you pick up NCAA 06, buying Madden 06 to pair with it is a pretty good idea. Baseball is another simple one. If you like retro games, play MVP Baseball 2005. You can also pick up and play any of the modern MLB The Show games, with MLB 10 The Show being a standout. Now, if you're a huge simulation nerd and love games like Hearts of Iron or StarCraft, Out of the Park Baseball is for you. It's an insanely deep spreadsheet simulator featuring all of the obscure real-life roster building options used by MLB teams. If you like getting lost in numbers, Out of the Park Baseball is right up your alley. Basketball recommendations are quick. Essentially, pick an NBA 2K title of your choosing. The early games on Dreamcast offer arcadey, pick up and play fun, and the modern NBA 2Ks are competent, but you're going to have to avoid the nauseating amount of microtransactions that they have. The overall best basketball game is generally regarded to be NBA 2K15, with some of the best gameplay paired with a great franchise mode, among other things. As for hockey, I'd either pick up NHL 2K8, NHL 94, 2002, or a modern NHL title. It's a little surprising that there aren't many great hockey games out there, but considering it's a bit more niche than the other sports, you kinda have to work with what you have. Soccer has the most options out of any of the major sports. I'd recommend picking any of the Pro Evolution Soccer, FIFA, or World Soccer Winning 11 titles that I've got on screen. I wish I had more analysis to give, but to be honest with you, I'm just not that big of a soccer fan, and because of that, my experience with these games is limited. For any longtime soccer gaming vets in the audience, leave a comment down below telling us what your favorite soccer game is, and we'll give it a shot. And that's about all the games I've got for y'all. This is by no means an exhaustive list. There are hundreds of titles I didn't talk about for the sake of keeping things concise. These recommendations are to nudge you into the right direction of finding a high-quality game so that you can have a good time learning the ins and outs of a sport. If you want in-depth reviews on most of these titles, you can check out Soft Drink TV on YouTube. His back catalog has just about all the information that you need. The point of all this isn't to bury your nerdy interest in a pile of sports balls. I'm not interested in turning you into someone you're not, and I don't think it's a character flaw to dislike something that's popular. My point is that socialization with the people who can actually reach out and touch you is important. Your cousin who spends 6 hours watching football every Sunday probably hasn't played Final Fantasy VII, but they've probably played Madden. Using sports as a tool to get to know other people is just another way to ground yourself in the world around you, and sports video games are a simple way to get you there without kicking and screaming. Otherwise, what are you gonna do? You're gonna pull up to Thanksgiving in your Minecraft hoodie? You're gonna talk to your uncle about fucking Sonic comics? Hey, the Endgame arc was a real turning point for the comic. Did you know that they had the dragon chick with an abusive boyfriend during the Sonic Adventure adaptation? No, you're not. You're gonna talk to him about how the Cowboys are doing this year. And then you two are gonna briefly talk about life, where he'll mention losing his virginity in a porta potty in 1988. And it'll be a nice bonding moment you two will remember fondly, and in 5 years, when he starts asking you for your high school yearbook, you'll look back and you'll smile. And why would you want to miss out on that? Guys, this is how we solve the male loneliness epidemic. You gotta lock in. Anyways, that's about all I have for y'all today. I know it's a bit of a different style of video than what I usually post, but hopefully you guys like it. I'm trying to experiment a little bit as I move forward with this channel, so thanks for watching, and stick around if you want to see more of my stuff, and God bless.